friends. Welcome to another lesson with Miss Meadows. We are continuing talking about informational texts this week. Those are stories that teach us something that aren't necessarily told with a plot and characters, but are told as like an article or a magazine or newspaper or scientific text that teaches us something. So the anchor chart we're going to be focusing on today is text features. Now, authors choose text and graphic features to help explain ideas or to help readers locate information. So, captions, for example, are words or sentences about a picture. So, the caption would be down here, and it'll describe the picture that it's underneath. Diagrams are pictures with labels that tell what each part is. So, here we have the roof, the window, the door, and then house. So that would be a diagram because it is labeling all the different parts. Headings tell what part of a text is about. So a heading would be the really bold text at the beginning of a paragraph to explain what that is going to be about. And then maps are small pictures of big places. So a teeny tiny picture, this teeny tiny picture shows us all of the earth, all of the different continents on earth. So a big place shown in really little teeny tiny pictures. With that in mind, the informational text we're going to be reading about today is called The Grand Canyon by Sarah Gilbert. You might remember this story back from Module 7. We read this so long ago. And you might remember doing that and reading about it and learning facts about it. If not, then this is going to be a little bit, of a refresher for you to be able to see what the Grand Canyon is about. So this is going to be an informational text that's going to be teaching us some facts about the Grand Canyon. Welcome to Grand Canyon National Park. So we see already text features that is in really big letters, which means it's a big part they want us to focus on, that we're being welcomed to the Grand Canyon National Park. Wow, look at all that rock. At the Grand Canyon, you can look deep into the earth. Some of the rocks are millions of years old. So here we can see these rocks. We see all these layers. Some of these rocks were millions of years old. They've been there for a very, very long time. The Grand Canyon is in Arizona. It became a national park in 1919. It is one of the most popular national parks in the United States. So here is our map. This little teeny tiny star right here is where the Grand Canyon National Park is, and this orange state is Arizona. So we are in New York right here, and so we would have to go all the way across to here to get to the Grand Canyon. This heading says rocks and a river. The Grand Canyon covers more than 1 million acres. Some of it is desert. Other parts have lots of trees. It is cooler in the forests. So where it's really rocky, it's super sunny, but if you were to go into these trees area or by this river, it would be a little bit cooler down there. But because it's a desert, it's really hot. The Colorado River runs through the Grand Canyon. It made the canyon walls. The rock layers are different colors. People can find fossils in the rock. So here's an example of a fossil or something that is imprinted into the rock, and then all of these different layers of the rock are different colors. Canyon creatures. More than 500 kinds of animals and birds live here. The endangered California condor is one of them. Condors are the biggest birds in North America. So here is an example of a condor. It is the biggest bird in North America. So it's a huge, huge bird. If you were to see it in person, it would look huge. And it lives at the Grand Canyon. There are about 2,000 kinds of plants in the park. A few are found only in the Grand Canyon. They do not grow anywhere else. So there are certain trees that we can only find at the Grand Canyon, nowhere else. This heading says beautiful views. Almost 5 million people visit in a year. You can ride a bus around the rim. You can hike down into the canyon. You can even raft on the Colorado River. So you could either ride in a bus around the rim or the outside of the Grand Canyon. You could hike down into the canyon, which means walk down into all that rock, or raft on the Colorado River. It can get very hot in the canyon. Drink lots of water. Look out for wild animals like mountain lions too. Do not try to feed them. We don't want to feed the animals because then they might come closer to you or they might not be able to have something. It might make them sick. So we try not to feed them. Sunset at the Grand Canyon is a beautiful, special time. Watch the sun sink below the beautiful rocks. Look how beautiful this sunset is as the sun goes down over all these rocks at the Grand Canyon. And then that is a little activity to practice. But that is our reading of the Grand Canyon. That story did not have a plot. It didn't have characters or a setting, really. It was just an informational text or a scientific text that taught us different facts about the Grand Canyon. That making it an informational text, and it utilized text features like headings, photos, maps, and diagrams to be able to show us all of that different information and teach it to us. So now your next step is it's a little hard with our informational text to do our gem choices because there's not really characters or events in order, but if you wanted to write down draw a picture of the Grand Canyon and write a couple facts about the Grand Canyon, that would be a great way to show your learning at the end of this. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you loved listening to that story. And I hope you learned something from it. And I can't wait to read with you again tomorrow. Bye, friends.